Hi, this is the Price Action Analyst. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm doing a video today on three recent cryptocurrencies that are in the model portfolio that were buys. So they were essentially successful buy recommendations that, as price moved up and away from the entry point, became holds. So that's kind of how I structured my model portfolio. It's got buy recommendations, hold, exit, and late buy. Late buy is obviously when it's getting, it's starting to get late to buy after price has moved in our favor a little bit. So these were this is THETA, THETA. This is THETA in the Bitcoin pair. So this had a big run up. These wicks would have been obvious indicators that there was a coming retracement, which there was. And this retracement was a lot longer than most that we've seen where the coins have run. So it was, it was a deep retracement and it was extended. And so I have the brown lines are support and resistance. And you can see as this price consolidated, and again, this is kind of waiting for price to, I guess, consolidate like this, avoid you from getting in too early. And as price consolidated, you can see you could frame it up into like a upward channel. Normally when you get a down movement, you get a channel like this, the upward momentum's not very strong relative to the down move, and sometimes it can break down. But because we had this strong leg up, I am expecting this to eventually push up. So you can see that this break below the trend channel was indeed a false breakout. So, people that were getting short there are now trapped. I mean, getting short in the crypto market is hard to do. I'm not even sure how you would do that, but that's my interpretation over, when we're talking about stocks, that's definitely the case, and futures. But the thing that would have stopped you from selling here is that this was at a support line that had been, created there, tested there, and price came down to this support line and it didn't extend past it. The support looked like it was holding. This buy recommendation, so this is the 29th. So my spreadsheet started the buy recommendations there. That was probably a touch early. That's not substantial buying. This move up started to get indicative. I wasn't sure here either when I put that buy recommendation on because, support held. This was the beginning of the move up here. There was air here. So, it had come down here. Even if you're wrong here, there's probably not going to be a lot of downside resistance. Again, you've got a low here, air, and another support level here. So when it started to move up, I'm not sure what the exact reason was. It was probably drilling down onto the hourly bar, but I placed a buy recommendation there on the 28th. And as you can see, price has moved up. It's come back inside the trend. It poked out again, and then that was rejected and came back inside the trend. And then we started, that was substantial buying. We've had more substantial buying. We've had a couple of days of retrace, and now price is threatening to break out of the top of this trend. So I'm not sure exactly where the hold recommendation would have been put, maybe somewhere here. But compared to our entry, our entry would have been around 2297 Bitcoin. Price is currently at 3135. So anyways, for my subscribers that had bought it here, now you would just hold. It's still that the strength is on the upside, and you had this sort of trend here that I framed in on the hourly chart. It's broken out of that again. So if we can get a breakout, above this trend line, and also just price consistently moving away from support, then it's a safe assumption that price is going to at least cycle up to this resistance level. And with everything else that's going on, again, I'd need to see what the price action looks like, but if it gets there on strength, it's probably going to make a run for, it's a big area, but I would say, you know, expect significant selling and resistance up in this area here. But, you know, it's normally if I looked at a stock chart, you know, that's going to take a couple of goes to break, but the crypto market's very strong at the moment. So, you know, I'm tempted to buy that here, but really, you know, and this is the important bit, is my subscribers were given the option to buy this down here. So, you know, well, you know, if you can compare that to an entry here where you're sort of, gee, I hope it continues up and breaks out. Well, that's better when you're up, you know, than buying it here. Because if it fails on the first attempt, you're going to be worried that you made a wrong decision. So the earlier that you can get in, the better. So that's THETA. That was a buy. That's now a hold. The next one I want to look at is ZIL. So this is ZIL, a big leg up and quite a long retrace, and it's come through 2 levels of support and resistance. Again, you know, as it came down to support, you had previous highs here. And again, I'm not sure if the dates don't marry up, but that looks a little bit early for a buy entry, but that's the date that I have the first buy entry on the spreadsheet. Price pushed up here and was rejected. And so this, I was worried here, and there might have been a day or two where I moved the buy to a hold because this looked like it might push down. But after this day painted in and we had the wick here, that there was definitely a buy recommendation again. And you can see this is kind of, this is a big indication. Anytime, you know, here's your low, here's your support, price pushes down and is immediately rejected, leaving a wick. That's a big indication in that context that price is going to push up. And so that's exactly what I was hoping for. And so, you know, we've had a breakout and a relatively shallow retrace, and I'm thinking that because you've got 2 wicks here. So every time they've tried to sell price down, it's been bought up. So I don't expect price to come back and retest this trend line. And, you know, over the 2 days, the week, so maybe those 2 are the weekend, but it took 2 days to push up to that resistance line. You're getting a mini retrace there. And because of these wicks, I expect price to push up and cycle up to this resistance level very soon. You've also got a nice volume spike there. So that's now, that's been moved to a hold. I didn't see this over the weekend, and so when I looked at this today, that's been moved from a buy to a hold, because here was our entry point. Our entry point was down at about 160-ish, and we're now at 210. So if we just go down to the hourly as well, you know, this price action looks strong on the hourly because you've got, you know, it's already pushing out of this retracement here on the hourly. And I don't know why I don't just use the parallel bars tool. It's so much easier. So, you know, it's already broken out of this and it's retracing. So the next, you know, push, the moment you get buying bars there, you know that it's gonna, that's probably the beginning of the next leg right there. So, you know, if you're looking for an entry on ZIL, that's, wait for a big buying bar. Remember, this is the hourly chart, so that big buying bar shouldn't be too significant, and then that's probably your entry, because this is the support line here. Price is on that, so you can't see that it's brown, but, you know, your inside support's probably somewhere like there. And so, you know, price has come in and washed inside support and pushed off of that, broken out of this trend line, and you've got a wick here. So you get a big buying bar there. That's probably your entry signal for the next leg up to the next level of resistance. So price is at 210 and the next resistance is at 278. So that is ZIL. The last one I want to look at, and again, these were buys in the model portfolio that my subscribers see. subscribers to my subscription service, they see these. I put this updated spreadsheet out every night. So this is Atom, it's Cosmos, and the coin code is ATOM. You know, relatively similar to what's been going on. This has formed a trend channel going down through support and resistance, and it's got to, you know, the lowest or second lowest level of support and made a big breakout. Now, we didn't have anything to do with this breakout. I've just been watching. I've been watching the retrace. So I wasn't giving any recommendations here. I don't know if this was on my radar, but we've been watching the retrace. And I knew that once it got down to, you know, the beginning of the break where the air was, you know, there's your air there. So it didn't quite fill it, but it got very close. And so this big move down kind of worried me. This is not substantial buying, but the selling didn't keep going. And then you had this push up, and gladly I didn't have a buy recommendation on it there. And then you had an attempt. So this was the giveaway. This attempt to push down was rejected quite strongly. Left a big wick there, and so that as soon as I saw that, the next day there's a buy recommendation on it. And so this is the thing too, you know, this buy recommendation you could have bought at the high, which is about 36020. This is not a short-term trading thing, so you know my expectation is that subscribers that bought at 36020 could have watched price come down to 3378. So you know, it never really went too much lower anyways. Like, you know, anywhere within this wick essentially is an ideal entry zone. These green lines would have been an ideal entry zone that when I give something a buy, I give you like the ideal zone to get long. You don't have to wait for a retrace. You can just buy it, but you can also wait for that retrace. So, you know, anytime price retraced into this wick, it was inside the ideal buying zone. So 1, 2, 3, 4 days after that, you got your buying spike. And again, notice there's no volume on that first one, but it's almost like, I don't know whether people are waiting for that or it's triggering stops or what, but the next day, there's your volume spike. So if you don't catch these early, like it's once this paints in, it's too late to get long, according to me. Like as soon as we see that, then it's moved from a buy to a hold. This is where I'm trying to get you to enter. You know, the risk is most of my recommendations, luckily so far, the vast majority, I would say like 80% plus, have been right. But every now and again, I'm going to get wrong, and I'm going to be wrong, and price is going to cycle against us. But again, and if you subscribe to my service, I'll tell you how I recommend using this. I recommend, you know, if you got $10,000, maybe you have, doesn't have to be 10, but say you have $1,000 in each crypto. So I put $1,000 in here. 8 times I'm right, 2 times I'm wrong. Price goes against me, and I cut it down here or wherever. Overall, I'm up. That's kind of how I'm structuring this service. And you know, if I get in here and the price comes back to here, it shouldn't worry me in terms of my overall portfolio. So this one worked. This has now been moved to hold. And in fact, these wicks will. This is kind of indicative of there potentially being, you know, you could even short term, you could exit up here. Especially if this bar paints in and leaves another wick. But, you know, I would expect the next price move into this wick to fail. Even if it washes the wick, I think it'll come back inside. So that's very indicative that there's going to be a bit of a retrace here. You know, it's essentially got to that previous high and failed, and you've got resistance there. But that doesn't matter to people that have followed my advice, because they're in it, you know, 34, 344, and price is now 4.5. So, but overall, I just want to make it clear too. I think you probably get a little bit of a retrace there. I wouldn't expect that to cycle down to support again. It's possible, but I think it'll retrace and push up here. But you know, if tomorrow this pushes up into this wick here, expect it to come back inside. You know, that this is not a retrace. It'll be up, come back inside, consolidate, push up, break out, retrace, push up, something like that, you know. But this wick, this other wick here will likely be respected. So if price comes down into this wick, expect this wick to offer buying support for the next move up. So that's the three I wanted to talk about. They're just, I just want to give people an idea of what's happening in the subscription service. So, you know, we've got a model portfolio. They're cryptos that we are appreciating relative to Bitcoin in price. So they're uptrending relative to Bitcoin in price. And to me, that's an indicator that potentially one of them will be the next Bitcoin, if that makes sense. And what we're doing within those uptrends, within that appreciation, like Adam here, is we're looking for ideal entry points where once you enter, it's not very likely that price comes and tests your entry point. You know, especially now with this price action, I expect price to move up here. I don't see price coming back to test this entry. It is possible, it's just low probability, especially with these volume spikes here. So I'll leave it there. That was a bit of a long-winded video. Please like the video. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if you're interested, shoot me an email if you're interested about the subscription service, and I can give you some more information. Otherwise, we'll see you in the next video. Thanks very much for watching.